my god, the world is ending, everything's falling apart, terrible people are getting in control, making terrible decisions to make our lives just as terrible. Again. Because it's kind of happened a few times now, hasn't it? In fact, it's kind of become the new normal that we're all dealing with. And now, I'm not here to just brush this off and say, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Oh, it's not going to be something we even need to worry about. Obviously, there's things we can do, but it seems like we're all kind of going about this the least productive way possible. And it seems like there's many different, better alternatives to what we could be doing if we, maybe knock off all the doom and gloom, because don't really have much choice otherwise, and I for one don't feel like particularly just giving up quite yet. Give me at least 5 more minutes or maybe we'll try some of these things. Let's find out. Okay, this might just be the British side of me, which I thought I'd stomped to death, but apparently not, but maybe we just keep calm and carry on. Maybe that's our solution, because one way or another, we don't really know what the future's going to entail, but what we do know is what today's going to entail because we're deciding that. So maybe we should just act as if maybe we should, we still have a tomorrow, and then we'll still have one. And then the worst case scenario is where you didn't fuck today up if everything still goes to pot. Now, as someone who lived through the 90s and the millennium bug, and of course lived through 2012 and all of that jazz, and the war on drugs and the war on terror and all of this other different world-ending stuff and potential World War IIIs, I am still stood here thinking none of that shit happened. None of it got that bad. And we're all, I assume, if you're watching this video, people that lived through the, alright, I'm gonna build a wall, it's gonna be the best wall ever, it's gonna keep all the Mexicans out, Mexico's gonna pay for it, I'm turning out a crook, I'm turning out a felon, and where the fuck is that wall? Quick question, is there a wall? Is it invisible? Is it also complete bullshit because there is no fucking wall? Seems to me like a certain Mr. Person likes to make a lot of claims that he doesn't cash in on when he actually has the chance to do so. It's almost like he just says that to get elected, and when he gets in, it's all about making money. Are we not potentially in the exact same situation? Because, if you shout and scream like, these are all the things I'm gonna do, you're gonna get in. But does anybody check to see if he actually does them? Of course not. So, having looked at the evidence of the past, what they say is gonna happen is not necessarily what's going to happen. And considering the whole nature of media and social media feeds on fear, maybe we just fucking ignore it for a bit, okay? It's not about burying your head in the sand and ignoring it. It's not just the whole point is to hide from it. Of course not. It's about maybe just continue with your day and think, well, if that's a bridge we need to cross, then we'll think about crossing it. But at the moment, that bridge hasn't even fucking been built. So, if it's over there, and no one's built the fucker, don't really need to worry about crossing it, do I? In fact, sometimes delusion is your friend. Okay, bear with me for this point, because it might sound a little bit weird when I start, but maybe let's all just pretend that it's not happening. Yeah? Let's all just pretend that it's not as bad as it is sounding, and that none of it's actually going to happen the way we're scared that it will, and that it's all actually going to be okay. Let's just pretend that. And let's just act that that's a thing. Call it manifestation if that fucking helps you. Let's manifest the kind of world we want to live in, because there's always a chance that it's not. There's always just the same possibility that it's not going to be as bad as that these bad things are not going to actually happen, and that maybe it's all just bullshit. You see, we live in a society where basically fear is the currency. Because everybody wants clicks, everybody wants views, that's how they make their money. But you don't get that by doing breaking news. Everything's pretty alright. It's been a good day. That doesn't do shit. Breaking news, terrorists do a thing. Breaking news, religious war breaks out in the same place it always has for 2,000 years. Breaking news, everything's fucked now and forever. Wow, that's got you watching. That gets your blood pumping, right? And the advertiser's going to be happy because there's more people with eyes on their products, and that's kind of the whole point. So you can't trust what the media says, or social media, because they've got a vested interest in making you stressed, in making you panicky, because it makes you engage with their shit more. It makes you more reliant on them as a source of information and a source of news. So why the fuck would they tell you the truth if everything's going to be okay? No, they're going to make this look as bad as possible. So delude yourself. Fucking block all that shit out. Don't pay any attention to it. Just don't look. It's as easy as that, because what happens if it does turn out just as bad as you were scared? Well, that's terrifying, but I bet you've never really considered what happens if it doesn't. What happens if it doesn't? What happens if you panic and you ruin your mental health and you destroy your today and you feel like shit and then everything goes absolutely fine? You feel like a bit of a dick, don't you, for ruining everything when you really didn't have to. So maybe don't. An interesting point that a good friend of mine brought up is that there's this weird sense of revenge that comes to this, and I think it's because our politics system has basically devolved into sports teams, where, you think they're going to hit a home run and instead they just bring out tariffs, and you're like, that really came out of right field, left field, sports reference, whatever the fuck field it comes out of, and it's not the fucking case, obviously, because we have absolutely no fucking clue what's going on with this shit. Nobody does. It doesn't really work, but people get invested regardless, and they have this whole sense of, well, your man won, and I don't like him, and I don't like you, therefore we're all fucked now. And they start deciding that, well, no, none of it's going to work. None of it's going to work. We're not letting any of it work anymore. It's all going to go to shit because we said it's going to go to shit, and by God will I make sure it all goes to shit, because let's be real, it is a little scary to think that the worst person you know just got made president, but what's scarier is that, oh shit, what if he actually does good stuff? Like, what if Trump walked in and was like, we're not going to do student debt anymore? Okay, transgender rights, freedom for all, ACAB. It would break us a little bit, right? It would just utterly destroy our perceptions of the world, and we think we're on an acid trip. So there becomes this weird mentality of, no, you got in and you won, and things are going to be shit because that's what we believe. Therefore, we're not going to do anything to make the situation better. Now, I get it. The captain of the ship is not someone you want. And you can't just, do a mutiny because let's not do that again. But that's the case. The captain of the ship is the captain. It's not someone you want. It doesn't make much sense to go poking holes in the fucking boat. Even if it's like, well, that's their side of the boat. I'm going to poke holes in that side of the boat. Motherfucker, we're all on the same boat. Whether their side sinks first or not, the whole fucking thing will sink if you decide to go and damage it. So maybe we don't look at damaging things. Maybe we actually be proactive about it, because I don't know if many people are aware of this, but the election is only once every 4 years, but that's not the only time you have to give a fuck about politics. If you vote once every 4 years and don't give a shit the rest of the time, you're just as bad as the people that you fucking hate. There are so many other ways you can engage in this system. Local politics. Become a fucking menace in the inbox of your senator. Do not let them go to bed without knowing that you are the person they represent and you don't want them doing the shit that you did not vote them in for. Fucking engage with it. Go to your mayor, go to your congressman, your senator, go to any kind of local office. It's not just done. It's not just a one and done thing. He doesn't just get carte blanche to do whatever the fuck for the next 4 years unless you sit on your ass and refuse to engage in the fucking process. Take this from someone who wants to do that, but due to citizenship reasons, can't. It's fucking insulting that you bitch off about all this stuff and don't do anything that you have the power to do about it. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to use myself as an example here because everybody loves to throw the whole thing of like, I bet you regret moving to the USA now, don't you? No, I don't. No, I fucking do not. And I'm not going to go on a rant about how shit the UK is, and I'm not going to go on a rant about how much I love the US, because those are not the reasons I moved. I would have moved to Zimbabwe or Madagascar or the fucking Antarctica if that's where my husband was. Because I wasn't running away from something, I was running towards something. Now, I could have sat there back in April 2023 after I had proposed and he said yes and thought, I wonder what the geopolitical state of the world is going to be like in 15 to 20 months' time. And I could have based all of my decisions off of that. And I would still be sat at home, panicking at the news, having not made any fucking effort to improve my circumstances. I get it, taking a leap is scary, but I would much rather go chasing something that I want and fail than to sit at home complaining I don't have what I want and succeed in doing nothing. That's the choice that I faced, and I believe it's a choice we all face, whether we realize that or not. You can be scared of the future, you can be scared of what's going to happen, you can be scared of what you think is going to happen. But if you just run away from that, then what are you running towards? Because if you start to think about what you want, the kind of future that you want, how you want things to go, then maybe you start thinking of how you get there. And then maybe, if you're running towards that, you start putting things in place that allows you to have that. I get it. It's scary. I'm fucking terrified too. I stand to lose a lot of shit. But I'm still pushing for a future that I fucking want, and I'm doing everything I can to get that. You owe it to yourself to do the exact fucking same. Push the fear away, push all of this negativity out the fucking window because it doesn't belong in your head, and figure out what you actually want, what kind of future you want to live in, and do what you can to get to that future. Because I guarantee you one simple thing. Being upset, stressed, scared, and most importantly, inactive, will only guarantee that you stay exactly as you are right now. And I don't think you want that. I don't think any of us want that. So maybe let's walk the fuck forward, yeah? So what do you think? Did I make any kind of sense? Do any of those tips seem good? Because I think they seem good. At the end of the day, we're going to be dealing with this shit regardless. And we only really have a choice on how we deal with it. Because the other choice of whether or not we're going to has already been made. So now that we know the cards we've been dealt, surely we want to play those cards to the best of our ability, right? Don't want to just, toss in the hand out of spite or just get up and walk away from the table when potentially you can still win this game. And maybe it's not about degrees of winning and degrees of losing, but just, it's kind of fucked, but it still works. And kind of fucked but still works is pretty much the MO of most people in this fandom. So let's just fucking go with it, yeah? Like, we can fall apart and go to pieces, or we can try and, make this not the future that we fear. We can either sit and be really terrified of how things are going to be and let them be that way, or we can stand and go, I don't want to go that way, so maybe we'll go this way instead. How about that for an idea? Does that make sense? Is that something that we're all going to choose to do? I really want it to be. I can go for doom and gloom if you want. I can find a million reasons why we should stress out and be terrified and give up on life, but I've been told that's a bad thing. And I believe the person who told it to me, because it was me. So maybe we won't do that? Yeah, maybe? I don't know, but there we go. There's my 2 cents. And it is cents now, because I'm in the US. But thanks for watching. If you want to support me, there's not really a whole lot of ways you can do that. You could just drop money in my PayPal if you want, and I'll fucking love you for it. But there's also social media stuff where you can go and check out some of the stuff that I do on other parts of the internet. But that's pretty much all I've got, really, today. I'm done. Doggo out. Bye.